Um, I've seen conversations with supervisors goes from innocent, vulnerable to the person getting in trouble for having an opinion. That's another indicator that either that unit is low on the MCOD model or the whole organization is. So if you're early in organizational change, you may want to be talking to HR, EEO, employee, equity employee, help me with EEO, employee relations, any of those type of folks about, I'm about to do this training. How can we work together so that if people do share about current dynamics, they will not face retaliation? While you're having those conversations, also ask, what are the resources in the organization, local community, that I can send people who want to have some more thought? Because I'm just doing a basic diversity, equity, inclusion training, talking about social justice in organizations. But often people come with real situations that are either harassment or close to harassment, dynamics with another coworker that the supervisor is not addressing but clearly crosses a line. What are the resources that I can recommend, put in my handouts, as well as recommend at the end of the workshop that people can go to? So make sure you personally know, and then proactively say, what do I do if someone says, I was in a workshop, I said this, and then my supervisor called me in and confronted me for sharing our dirty laundry. And I think that's impacted my career here. I don't have easy answers because these dynamics happen in every organization that I've been in. And yet the farther along the organization goes in the MCOD models, they get closer to a really inclusive, socially just organization, then there is no tolerance for harassment and retaliation. The only thing that just came to me is sometimes as a participant, I thought I was being vulnerable, and I may have shared in a way, or I was blaming other people and I didn't see my part in the situation. And so sometimes having follow-up conversations to help disentangle difficult situations that get talked about in a headline in a workshop. So that could be something else you anticipate, and you have HR, and if you have a training organizational development arm of HR, what are the resources that if I hear or someone says my unit could use some third-party intervention, do you come in and do that? And you're like, I just do this training. I don't do mediation. I don't do team building like that. Can you give me some names of resources or a place for me to send them? That would have, if I'd thought this way 30 years ago, it would have helped me be much more confident when I was doing these trainings in an organization or as a consultant. But these are the kind of questions I asked beforehand. Okay, take a deep breath. We have about 15 more minutes. Oh, I got one more thing. I'm still holding on to this retaliation thing. It just pisses me off because it's often white leaders to folk of color, male leaders to female presenting folk, heterosexual leaders to LGBT folk, cisgender folk leaders. So it just pisses me off, much less the hierarchical. So if you're concerned this happening in your organization, you may want to have pre-conversations with your leader and other leaders to say, how can we create an environment where people can learn, get a sense of belonging, talk honestly about what dynamics are happening so that we can think about how to intervene and not face retaliation? What is our process if an employee feels they've been retaliated against? And ask the leaders beforehand. So the ones that are close to do it, they may not do it as much. But most organizations probably don't have a clear practice and policy. So I'd at least have the conversation and see, do we want to have this be a policy? All right. Someone's writing, actually leaving a job because of retaliation. There are no laws to protect us. Take a deep breath, because there's probably fewer laws implemented in these last 2 years. And so I believe all the training that so many thousands of people have been doing in the last 15, 30, 50 years has gotten our country to the place where we can have an election like yesterday. And we have a long way to go. And so I see training and awareness building is critical, but as this conversation is going, it's just one piece of a huge puzzle to have true organizational change where we attract, retain, develop, and promote top talent across a full breadth of differences who have incredible cultural competencies.